On Wednesday, the Cardinals honored JJ Wetherholt, naming him the minor league player of the year, the first of hopefully many awards that JJ Wetherholt will receive throughout his career as a St. Louis Cardinal. And Brenden, you had a chance to talk with JJ along with the minor league pitcher of the year, Bryson Mott's, a name that we mentioned on yesterday's show. And we'll talk about that today on Card Central 365. We are brought to you by DraftKings, where the crown is yours. And Brenden, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to talk with JJ in any capacity since he's been drafted with the Cardinals. So interested to hear what your thoughts were from yesterday's Zoom press conference honoring him and Mott's getting this award.
Yeah, Wetherholt and Bryson Motts both spoke on Zoom about their respective awards, and excited. And it's so interesting to hear those guys speak and talk about, what that next step might look like, right? Because anytime you're talking to or hearing from a minor league player of the year, obviously the ultimate goal is to get to the big leagues. And one thing that stood out from JJ is just talking about a moment during the season where he was running the bases and came back in and, kind of remarked with how, he was worn down, and talked about, during the season, he had an illness where he missed some time and lost 10 pounds. And so, the durability aspect of it was a challenge at a point in time for him. But then one of the coaches kind of remarked back and said, yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to fight through that if you want to get to the bigs and the next level. And kind of realizing, I think, for these guys who have achieved so much in the minors, now they get the accolades for that, but really they're not yet to the final step that they want to be. And so just kind of thinking about and continuing to stay focused on the things that ultimately get them where they want to go. That's kind of the next step, I think, for both of these guys. And I think realistic for both Motts and in particular Wetherholt to potentially get that opportunity in 2026 to make that big league debut. And I'm sure that's what JJ is going to be looking for.
You say things like that, and a normal person, with reasonable thoughts, would say, yeah, maybe he does need to start in the minors and kind of work his way up. I'm not a reasonable person, though. I have high expectations of the kid, especially in a rebuilding season. I want to see him up here opening day, right there in the middle to bottom half of that lineup. So he's got a tough road ahead between now and the end of March to, I guess, figure it out. But I did see that he kind of spoke about that yesterday, saying that he's going into spring training next year with a completely different mindset than he's ever gone into a season with before, knowing that, hey, he has a real possibility of making the opening day roster. And that's the goal here. The goal isn't to get a little better, no, the goal is to make a big league roster and play Major League Baseball in 2026.
Yeah, and I think that goal is definitely a realistic one for him. For Motts, even more, where it's like, okay, he's on the 40-man roster, so he kind of was asked about, the mental aspect of seeing that you're maybe just one call away once you're on the roster. I think that's still true, though, for JJ. Even though he's not on the 40-man, it's more of a procedural fact. Like, once he is somebody that the Cardinals are ready to put into their everyday lineup, they're going to do all of the transactions necessary to get him there. And I think spring training is obviously the place where JJ Wetherholt is going to have the opportunity to make a mark. Last year, coming into spring, just trying to get in front of the coaches and trying to stay relevant for as long as you can in that spring camp. And the Cardinals gave him some run in the Grapefruit League. I bet that you can anticipate additional run for JJ Wetherholt this time around in Grapefruit League. Not that they're going to, necessarily run and ragged in the spring, but I think they want to get a really good look probably by the time we get to Jupiter and at what it looks like for JJ Wetherholt against maybe some of the more big league caliber pitching that they're going to see, and probably getting a look at him at multiple positions. That's obviously something that he was aware and talking about it yesterday, that he's got some work to do in the offseason to, be ready at third base, be ready at second base, in addition to where he's been most comfortable at shortstop. I think that's probably going to be a big part of his offseason. But really, I feel like the Cardinals feel that the defense is going to come however it's going to come. The bat in particular is what they're going to want to see the consistency from. And if they think it's polished enough, ready enough to help the team out to begin the 2026 season, I think he'll be there. But there's also some things that are outside of JJ Wetherholt's control when it comes to the players in front of him in the pecking order and how many of them could be traded away versus, how many are the Cardinals going to continue to build around and keep in-house. Those are the things he can't control. But the things he can control is just showing up to Jupiter in February and trying to make his mark, which I'm sure a lot of Cardinals fans are looking forward to seeing as well.